Lap of the Sea-Link Superkart race, and there's the man in the lead, James Deary from Monaghan, one of the three racing Dearys here in the Superkart race this afternoon. It's been quite a hectic opening lap, and Deary has really come through. There's the second bunch just in behind him, and David Kennedy alongside me at the commentary box. You just see the way they started from the grid on the screen at the moment. But there's no doubt about it, it's James Deary, number 6, there in the lead. From second place man, the early leader, Dominic Murray. And then another one of the Deary brothers, number 2, Eamon Deary, pole position man, next up.
Yes, the Dearys, in fact, are at the moment are first, 4th, 5th, and Austin Bishop, number 7, the yellow cart there in 6th place. You can see how difficult it is to drive these carts. They've no suspension. Mondello particularly bumpy. Austin Bishop was telling me earlier, after 8 laps, 9 laps, you just physically can't drive these carts anymore.
Austin Bishop, who won this race last year, but look at this little battle here, just coming through into second place, John Buggy up into second place ahead of Dominic Murray there. And that is a superb performance from Buggy, a very experienced man indeed, and now beginning to put on a major attack on James Deary, and he's got him. So Buggy shooting up there on the 3rd lap of this 8-lap race, taking about 3 places, and one can only assume that James Deary is either tiring or in some kind of problem.
I think possibly a missed gear again to see the speed that he caught him. John Buggy qualified in second row of the grid, which was 5th quickest. He's now in 1st place.
So Buggy leads in second place, number 6, James Deary. Then number 9, one of the rising stars of superkarting, Dominic Murray from Clontarf. And you can see how hard they're trying and how hard it is to keep these amazing little machines on the track. They're really the bumps of Mondello, never more graphically portrayed than in this class of racing. 6th then.
John Buggy looks over his shoulder just to see how the road is behind him. Anybody going to make a move down the inside? Duckham's Corner, another very, very bumpy section. You can see them lifting out of their seats as they're hanging on for dear life. John Buggy still in the lead, cart number 10.
So Buggy leads, but in the 1-2-5 class, which has been run concurrently, it's Kirk Grills who's in the lead from Northern Ireland. But here we have, look at this dice. That the last of those is Austin Bishop, the winner of this race last year. Very experienced man, absolutely superb in the wet, and he is dicing there with number 2, Eamon Deary, who had been on pole position but has dropped right back.
I think Austin has had some problems there. In that first lap, there was a small coming together, and his car just jumped about 3 foot up into the air, and it's not handling too well, I think, but he's driving like a man possessed. Got up into number 2, Eamon Deary, who in fact was on pole position, and Austin, who was second quickest, now moved up a place.
So John Buggy, the Dubliner driving the Dino Rotex, still out in the lead. We're looking at the dice there between Austin Bishop, who will also be out in the saloon car race later on in the afternoon. But there's Buggy, and he really got a nice little lead now. They have completed 4 of the 8 laps of this Sea-Link race. And once again, holding on there for grim life, Eamon Deary trying so hard to get past number 7, Austin Bishop, the multi-Irish Superkart champion.
So 1st and 2nd in qualifying are now lying 4th and 5th. Eamon, and Austin Bishop has put his hand up, he's pulling out. I imagine that cart, it looked as if it was handling exceptionally dangerously. It was skipping all over the track, and we have a spinner here in the middle of Shell Corner, getting out of the way as quick as he can.
So the back markers already keeping well out of the way as the fast ones come through. Still John Buggy. John Buggy, the Dino Rotex, he's been racing for 6 years. And picked up a lot of awards in that time. North-South champion in 1980, SKC champion 1981, and Irish champion in 83 and 84. And really mastering Mondello at the moment. Number 10 then, John Buggy, on his way, the Richmond Motors-sponsored driver.
He's opening up quite a gap now. It looks fairly secure at the moment. 6-speed gearboxes these, producing about over 70 horsepower. Very, very fast, these cars. As fast as the single-seater racing cars that you've seen today. As fast as Formula Fords. But so physical to drive. You can see them being jumped and jarred from bump to bump.
And we could well see a challenge here for second place, because we have James Deary being challenged quite hard by Dominic Murphy, who you'll remember actually led the opening lap. So there he is, Dominic Murphy from Clontarf. Again, a Dino Rotax water-cooled kart. And there is the battle for second. And that is how hectic it gets when they get down to Duckham's, travelling at speeds that would put them well up a Formula Ford grid with no suspension whatsoever. But you can see in recent years how aerodynamics have really come into the design of these little karts.
Yes, basically the mini Formula 1 cars, they've got the aerodynamic spoilers on the inside, a little bit of ground effect, they've got the rear wing. And this all adds up to considerable downforce for these little cars, but again, it makes them more difficult to drive, more physically demanding as they hop and skip from corner to corner. But they get more traction and more speed, and that's the name of the game.
Man there in second place, but only just in second place, James Deary. He's been at karting for 12 years, and a quite extraordinarily successful family, the Deary family from Monaghan. All three of them very quick, and all three of them very well up this grid. So there's the race leader, John Buggy. Buggy leads then, with 7 laps completed now onto the last lap. Another man in trouble there, hauling his little chariot off the road and in considerable disgust. Indeed, the marshal would be much keener if it was further off the road.
Yeah, I sympathise with the poor chap, and spent all the week and weeks before preparing and spending his money for the car, and what does he get? A couple of laps into the race and probably a broken engine. Not a lot of reward for such hard work.
And number 10, the race leader, coming up to lap the back mark, has been blocked there actually on his last lap as he comes down into Dunlop for the last time. Coming up to complete 8 laps of this C-Link Superkarts, and a very good win indeed. Way out ahead in second place. It can't really see there, but it looks like it's number 9. In fact, Dominic Murphy coming up into second place. Third was number 16, and that's Peter Deary, and fourth, number 2, Eamon Deary. So the Dearys, as always, well represented.